O'Brien.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 3:07 p.m. Eastern Time, and we got markets challenging the session lows right now. You have the S&Ps. We kick off the session already in higher territory with NVIDIA pushing this market higher. NVIDIA, they're going to resuming selling their H20 chips. We're probably just under that number. Yeah, 4.15 trillion, 4.15. Quite an escalation. Pull back a bit. Still, you're talking about a company with about 25 billion shares outstanding. You're up by more than $6. That's 150 billion market cap. We were just coming in right at about 4 trillion last night, 4.15. And yeah, to jump over to that headline, NVIDIA, AMD, resume AI chip sales to China in a U.S. reversal. And yeah, they're going to begin selling the H20 AI accelerator to China. So that boosts that equity, and that's going to be billions of dollars is the number out there. We jump over to AMD. We're up 5.7% right now for AMD. Now, as I mentioned, these are some of the biggest companies out there. Okay, NVIDIA is 4.2 trillion. The S&P is a weighted, market cap weighted index, man. Apple is up a full percentage point, right? Amazon up 0.25% right now. Microsoft up 0.8%. Google up by 1.0%. Other equities like Oracle up 2.2%. Dell is in the green as well. And you have the S&P's negative. You get the Dow getting clobbered on some earnings as well. But right now we get the NASDAQ 100 up by 70 points. But yeah, you were as high as 23,222, and we're coming right into those lows. We made it at 11 a.m. We were back there 2 hours ago at 1 in the afternoon, and we are challenging those lows again in the NASDAQ 100. And look how we just came down there. That's some volume. You did it on some volume last time of about 8,100 contracts. That's on a 5-minute. Let's put it on a 15. See how we're trading at some of those lows. Yeah, doing about 14,000 contracts, and we just ripped lower on 13,000. Going to be an interesting 50 minutes as we wrap up. Now, yields in focus, man. You talk about a move, right? Oof. We'll go over some of the inflation data, and let's go for it right now. Why not? All right. Now, core CPI is what drove the move originally. Okay, core CPI on a month-over-month basis comes in light at 0.2%. There it is right here. Versus 0.3% expected. But they always round these. You should really carry it out 2, if not 3 decimal points to give you an idea of how much they missed, right? 12-month for core comes in at 2.9, which is what was expected, but that number's actually going up, is that number. Okay? Now, going through this whole Bloomberg update that they do, and they do a great live feed for about an hour. They break down everything in the CPI, every little facet that they can. They get some takes in there as well. But let me give you, okay, and just check out this part, okay? And these were, you have overall CPI rising 0.3% as expected. Year over year, you're at 2.7% right now for overall CPI, up from 2.4% in May. Okay, again, you're at 2.7, up from 2.4% in May. Higher food and energy prices help drive some of that. If you strip out autos, core goods prices are up almost 0.6% on the month, the most since November of 2021. Again, if you take out autos, okay, because autos were going down, core goods prices are up 0.6%, 0.55 to be exact, but that rounds up to 0.6%. Now, you make with this data what you want, but the market right now is reacting and saying, we're pulling some cuts out. Yields are up. The 10-year's at 4.5%. And I'm giving you some of the reasons why that could be permeating. Okay, and again, you take out autos, core goods prices up almost 0.6%, the most since 2021. Toy prices up 1.8% on the month, the biggest gain since April 2021. And this is all stuff I got from Bloomberg on the feed, but I was just putting it together for the gold report actually today. If you want to check that out, folks, a new issue out today. Food at home was up 0.3% on the month, 2.4% on the year. Energy costs, right? 0.9%. The most since January. Gas up a full percentage point for the month, the most since January. Furnishings, okay, furniture up 1% on the month, the biggest gain since January of 2022. There's some numbers in there. Now, where we go from there, September's in focus. We're going to get a lot more data by the time we get to September. But boy, this market is screaming lower price and higher yield right now. And that's given the dollar a bounce, and we get the 10-year at 4.5%. We'll call it, with the dollar at 98.62. Now, what's remarkable here is July 1st, we were at 96.38. The 10-year was at 4.19. 4.19 is what we hit there. Okay, you back that up, and that's when we spiked. You can put it on a 10-day, 30-minute. 112.12. We're 2 full points below there in 2 weeks, and you just went from 4.19 to 4.5%. We're almost at 4.5. So there is a move in this market, man. Now, you could say that when we were approaching 4.2, the market was ripe for a little bit of a pullback, but boy, this is just going right back to the bottom of the range, it looks like. And that's somewhere between 109.26 and 109.12. And yeah, that's going to make the data as we go forward even more important, because if some of those numbers begin to permeate further into that data, we'll see how the Fed responds. And right now, the market's pricing in that they're not going to be cutting later this month, that's for sure. And the odds are shifting ever so slightly when you're talking about September. To pull those numbers over for the September meeting, it's almost a 50-50 right now. It was about a 60-40 before that data, and right now the market's pricing in that we get a cut 52%, we stay where we are 46% in September. You go into December, and the market's pricing in maybe 2 cuts at 42%, maybe just 1 cut. And you know what? There's an 8% chance we get no cuts. And we know how quickly these numbers can move, right? If there's an 8% chance on July 15th we get no cuts, well, boy, you're talking about 5 months into the future. That is a distinct possibility. I don't know how it plays out, because there's pressure on the Fed, and you're going to get a new chairman, chairwoman next year. But right now, this market's streaming higher yields. And the dollar's reacting with some strength to 98.64. And yeah, Bitcoin trading lower. Bitcoin off $2,800, off 2.7%, as we got the S&Ps off by 14. Nvidia, all-time highs. All those markets, S&P and NASDAQ, make all-time highs today before we got a little pullback. Folks, we're coming back with our man Basil Chapman. Don't go away.